Hi, I'm Adam Modlik, Executive Director at Basketball Manitoba, and welcome to the Basketball Manitoba All-Star Basketball Video Series. This series of videos is designed for both players and coaches to improve their knowledge and understanding on the great sport of basketball. This series is hosted by Basketball Manitoba High Performance Coach Kirby Shep, who will lead you through a number of different scenarios pertaining to the development of basketball at all levels of the game. You can use the controls at the bottom of your screen to quickly move to different segments of the video series. We hope you enjoy this presentation, and we wish you the best with your overall basketball development.
You'll notice now I'm starting without a basketball. Some players will look at me when I say to them, okay, put all the basketballs away and come in, and they will cringe in fear. My best players will get very, very excited when I say that because they know it's time to work on some defensive footwork. I'm a huge believer in this. In my practices, we probably do 10 or 15 out of the first 20 minutes of every single practice is fundamental defensive footwork. I think not only it helps in our defense, but it helps us become better athletes. Because the key to defense is being able to move in a defensive stance, laterally, forward, backwards, change from a sprint to a run quickly in an athletic way that I can stop, I can start, I can change, and I can keep pace with the offense that is obviously ever-changing. The first way that I like to teach defense is something I learned from a couple other fellow coaches of mine. That is simply getting my feet about 1.5 times shoulder width or so, maybe even 2 times shoulder width, depending on the ability of the player, right? If I bend my knees low, you'll notice right away that some kids are going to put their knees in, okay? Again, not as athletic a stance as trying to keep their lower legs as straight up and down as possible and bending at the butt. Again, not bending at the waist, bending at the butt, okay? Squatting down. This movement, the squatting movement, is pretty much fundamental to almost all sports, and is just a good thing to do all the time in your practices, getting them in this situation. Now that I do this, we look at something that hopefully is familiar to a lot of them, especially in this part of the country, and that is camping. We get in our stance, I tell them, get their elbows on their knees. This is what I call the crapping in the bush stance. Simply stated that if they've ever been camping at a place where there is no outhouse or is no place to go, they may have had to go into the bush and assume this position. We get down in this position, our feet are wide, my hands are here, and then very simply I tell them, do not change your legs and straighten up your back and upper body and get your hands wide when I say stance. And here we go, stance, I'm up. I'm in a nice wide stance, I'm able to change my position. Now that we've got our stance down, we want to look at moving. Now, it's very important that players learn how to stop, start, and move quickly, changing direction while keeping their stance. You'll notice poor defensive players, and really almost all defensive players, throughout the course of a possession will get out of their stance. It is more often than not that when they get out of their stance, they're down here like this, they stand up for a second, and that's the moment that they're beat. Whether it's on the ball, away from the ball, maybe it's a blockout situation and a rebound, all different scenarios. That is when they're beat. So we want to get players who can, for the full 24-second shot clock, be able to stay in their stance and be able to move in an athletic way. So we've got our stance now. The fundamental things, first of all, are moving to the left and the right, obviously, okay? Sliding, basic defensive slides. If I'm moving in this direction and I'm guarding the ball, okay, basically I want to point this toe and I want to push hard. This is my lead foot, this is my trail foot. I push very, very hard and I get it together. What I want is basically my body to stay the same and my legs to move and kick out and move, kick and move, kick and move. Okay? As I start here, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? Now, as they get a little more advanced, they're going to be moving up and down quite quickly. The next most important thing is my hand position. If I'm guarding a ball handler, we would like to have our lead hand up and our trail hand down. Imagine if I'm guarding a ball handler here and he's going in this direction. If my lead hand is up, this is the most likely place where they will pass the ball. If I can force them to pass low or pass high, I'm forcing a bounce pass, I'm forcing a lob pass, but I'm taking away the direct line pass. My trail hand is hopefully taking away a crossover dribble, maybe getting deflection, maybe forcing them to stop and retreat, go behind their back, something a little bit more complicated. So as I slide, my lead hand is up, my trail hand is down. As I move back, my hands switch. Here, here. All the while keeping my head, my torso in the middle of my legs, my feet moving, and my stance low. Now that we've got our lateral movement down and we can move quickly and we've got our hand position down, we've got to be able to move in several different ways: forwards, backwards, rights, lefts, at angles, that kind of stuff. We need to learn how to do this because defense is a 360-degree thing. It's not just a right or left thing. So I've got them going to the left, I've got them going to the right, and now we come forward, an advanced step, quickly moving my feet forward. My hands are high always as I'm moving forward. Teaching kids to learn how to play with their hands up is really, really crucial. Next time you're at a game, look around. You'll see many of them play like this and passes constantly going over their heads. If they can learn how to move like this, the number of deflections, the number of passing angles you will cut down is huge. We now have to retreat, moving back, moving forward. We can move back this way, now to the left, now to the right, our hands high, back, 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 all in defensive stance. Continuing on with defense, now we'd like to add a little bit of competition to the situation. Again, what we mentioned earlier about stance, about footwork, about balance, all applies here. Players are always trying to keep their stance and trying to change from a running situation to a shuffling situation and try to move with a low center of gravity so that they can change direction very, very quickly. Here I've partnered them off, and we're going to have short defensive races. Occasionally I'll also add a loose ball to this situation to add more intensity. For this drill here, very simply, they'll be starting at the center line. They're going to shuffle with good footwork to where they have to touch the blue line, touch the black line, touch the blue, and back again to the original starting spot. That's 4 widths. They finish with a sprint to the blue line. The winner out of best of 3, let's say, gets to watch while the other person does 15 push-ups, let's say. Okay? So we'll go best of 3, 3 sets here. On my go, the penalty, by the way, for not touching a line. So if you go and you don't actually touch the line, is 200 push-ups, just so you know. Why do I do that? I always require for something like that there's a fairly harsh punishment because there's no one stopping them from touching that line but themselves. There's absolutely no excuse why they can't do the drill exactly as we're asking. Okay? On my go, we're racing. Ready? Go! Good. We should have a winner. Back to the start. Back to the start. We got ourselves a winner. Here we go, everybody. Reset. Remember, the losers do 15. Ready? Go! Good. Back to the start, back to the start. If we have someone who's 0 for 2, you do 15 push-ups. Do we have anybody who's split? Do we have anybody who's split? Nobody? Okay, we have our losers doing 15 push-ups. Oh, we got our split here? All right, ready? Go! Good, good. I'm not necessarily always an advocate for punishment, a losing team. However, sometimes even a token punishment, 5 sit-ups, 5 push-ups, 10 push-ups, a couple of jumping jacks, a token punishment can just add a little bit of interest to the game and kind of increase the fun that they're having and just raise the competitive atmosphere of the practice a little bit. Continuing with defense, we're now going to move in from an individual situation into a one-on-one situation. This is a drill I call run, slide, run. It's very important that all players learn how to defend in the full court so that they can take those skills and put them to the half court, even if you're not a full court pressing kind of team. Once again, we're going to emphasize the same skills that we did right from the beginning: the footwork, the balance, the low center of gravity, able to change direction, our hand positioning, all that kind of stuff that we're going to now take to a one-on-one situation. The key thing that needs to happen is we need to recognize that players are going to get beat, and they need to be able to change from a defensive stance to a running stance back to a defensive stance. That's why we call it a slide, run, slide. These players, as you're going to watch, are going to start in a defensive stance. They will get beat. They must turn and run to catch. Then, as quickly as they possibly can, get back into their defensive stance so that they can start controlling the offensive player once again. We're going to put players in a situation that is very game-like, that they're going to have to recover when they're beat, which is exactly what we're trying to do here. We're going to go twice across the court, then we're going to go to a live situation. The first part being controlled, the second part being live one-on-one at that end of the floor. Good job, Danielle. Way to control him. Now live one-on-one now. Control him, good job. Next group, here we go. Good. Cut him off. Good job, Sterling, cut him off. Keep working, guys, keep working. Good job. Excellent. Here we go. Next group. Good job. Cut her off. Keep her in front all the time. Good. Turn, run, cut her off. Keep her in front. Good job. That's it. Keep your stance, Debbie. Keep your stance all the time. Don't let yourself come up. That's the most important thing. Don't let yourself come up. Good job. Now, I'm going to change up the drill just slightly. Here, where I'm going to be a center, and after they cross center, I'm going to call for the ball, making them make eye contact with me. Don't throw me the ball till I show you my hands, okay? After they throw me the ball, the defense must adjust, jump to the ball, they can deny it, and it's live one-on-one from that point. Okay? Here we go, guys. Good job. Here we go. Next group. Control, Devin. Quick feet. Good job. Here we go. Next group. And run, Mike. Cut him off. Good job. Good. Sprint. Cut him off. Good job. Here we go. Good. Rebecca, run hard. Cut her off. Good job. Sprint. Woo. Eyes up. Always get your eyes on me now. Eyes on me. Here we go. Good job. Here we go. Sprint. Always controlling. Now we got to make sure we got our eyes up here. Got to have our head up. Good job. Okay, stop there. Hold it there. Okay? Great job. Couple of things we want them to get is when ball handler is obviously keeping their head up, looking down the floor. That's something that now I can look at and I can evaluate as a coach from that position. Okay? Still, we're emphasizing our footwork, being able to slide, keeping our balance, but also changing from a hard sprint to a slide, back to a hard sprint, back to a slide again. That's now our individual defense.